It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend getaway. Mark, an experienced angler, had heard about Blackwater Lake from a local fisherman. A secluded spot, far from civilization, known for its massive catfish. The only problem? People whispered that the lake was cursed. Mark dismissed the warnings as mere folklore and made his way deep into the wilderness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the lake turned eerily still. Setting up his gear, Mark cast his line and waited. Hours passed, but something felt off. The air grew thick, and a strange fog rolled across the water. A whisper, barely audible, drifted from the trees behind him. Turning sharply, he saw nothing but shadows dancing in the moonlight. Then, a sudden, violent tug on his line nearly pulled him into the water. Struggling to reel in his catch, Mark realized the line felt impossibly heavy, as if something massive lurked beneath. Just as he caught a glimpse of movement in the water, his boat rocked violently. Someone, was down there, staring up at him with hollow, glowing eyes. Mark screamed, and his world went dark. By morning, his boat was found floating aimlessly, his gear untouched. But Mark was gone, never to be seen again. Jake and his friends loved night fishing. It was a thrill, being out in the middle of nowhere with only the stars above. This trip was no different, except for the eerie silence surrounding the swampy lake they had chosen. "You guys hear that?" Jake muttered. But there was nothing. No crickets, no frogs, just an unnatural stillness. They ignored the unease and focused on fishing, sharing ghost stories to pass the time. Then, a ripple broke the surface of the water. At first, they assumed it was a fish, but as they shone their flashlight, they saw something long and pale slithering beneath the surface. A humanoid shape, moving with unnatural speed. Their laughter died instantly. Something grabbed hold of the boat, rocking it violently. A terrible screech echoed across the lake as one of them was dragged overboard. The others scrambled to pull him back, but he was yanked under before they could react. They fled the lake, never speaking of it again. Old Man Reggie had been fishing at Devil's Cove for years. Locals avoided it, calling it cursed, but Reggie had always dismissed such fears. One evening, as he sat alone, reeling in his last catch, he noticed something odd. The fish were all missing their eyes. Every single one. A chill ran down his spine, but he brushed it off. That night, the nightmares began. He dreamed of drowning, of hands pulling him under, of whispers calling his name. He woke up gasping, only to find wet footprints leading from the shore to his bed. Determined to break whatever spell had fallen upon him, Reggie returned to the cove. He cast his line, muttering a prayer, and waited. Hours passed, until finally, his line jerked violently. He reeled with all his might, but what he pulled up was not a fish. It was a severed, rotting hand, still gripping his fishing rod. Screaming, he dropped everything and ran. The next morning, his boat was found drifting in the water, empty. Reggie was never seen again. Nathan and his younger brother, Sam, had always wanted to fish at Misty Hollow Lake, a place famous for its oversized trout and deep, unexplored waters. But the lake had a dark reputation. Locals claimed that years ago, a group of fishermen had mysteriously drowned there, their bodies never recovered. Ignoring the rumors, Nathan and Sam set out on a misty morning, rowing into the heart of the lake. As they cast their lines, the fog thickened, swallowing their boat in an unnatural silence. Then, a bubbling sound erupted beneath them. Sam leaned over the edge to look, but Nathan pulled him back. "Don't!" Too late. Something shot out of the water, gripping Sam's arm with ice-cold fingers. A half-rotted, bloated figure, its face twisted in agony, rose from the depths. Its mouth gaped open, whispering something unintelligible. Nathan grabbed an oar and smashed at the figure, breaking its grip. Sam scrambled back, gasping. Without hesitation, they rowed as fast as they could, never looking back. When they reached the shore, they found their boat covered in wet, slimy handprints. Every fisherman in Raven Creek knew about the Watcher, a shadowy figure that appeared in the thick morning fog, standing motionless at the water's edge. Those who saw it up close never returned. Mike, an overconfident angler, dismissed the stories as superstitions. One cold morning, he set up his gear along the lake's bank, the fog rolling in heavy and thick. As he prepared to cast his line, he saw it, a dark silhouette standing across the water. At first, he assumed it was another fisherman, but something was off. The figure didn't move. Didn't breathe. It just stood there, staring. Mike called out, but got no response. Annoyed, he turned away for just a moment, and when he looked back, the figure was closer. Much closer. His breath caught in his throat. The watcher had no face. A violent wind kicked up, sending ripples across the water. The figure raised one arm and pointed directly at Mike. A chilling whisper filled his ears. He dropped his rod and fled, vowing never to fish there again. But the next morning, his fishing gear was neatly placed outside his home, wet, as if it had been pulled from the lake.